If you're trying to pass a prop firm challenge and you keep blowing up accounts, well, listen, I've been there. And the worst part, it's not your strategy that's failing. It's the mistakes that you keep making without even realizing it. Things like overtrading, risking too much, just letting your emotions drive your decisions. They destroy more accounts than the bad setups ever will. And the worst mistake, thinking you're just one perfect trade away from just getting funded. Look, in this video, I'm gonna break down the most common and costly prop firm mistakes that traders are making and exactly how to fix them, because if you don't, they're gonna end up ruining every single evaluation that you take. All right, let's get into it. Mistake number one is overtrading, thinking you're just one trade away. Yeah, you sit down, you see a quick move into your zone and click. Dopamine fires and it feels good, right? So you chase the next click. And before you know it, your brain is hooked on action instead of edge. You even start trading these low volume, uncertain sessions, thinking, oh yeah, I'm just hustling. But look, the reality is your impulse control center, your prefrontal cortex, fatigues in minutes. It doesn't last that long. Then the habit brain, the basal ganglia, it grabs the steering wheel and you are racking up trades that look productive, but really you're bleeding capital. So what are the typical signs? Forcing trades to push towards that 10% target, mistaking activity for productivity, and thinking one more click and I'm funded. Look, this is the fix, all right? So here's how you stop this madness. Write this statement and say it out loud every time. I hard cap myself at 3 trades, period. If I log 2 trades, then I stand up, stretch, sip some water, pattern interrupted, dopamine reset. Literally say this out loud. I am a precision trader who only takes A+ setups, quality over quantity. So the prop firms, they see consistency, not chaos. Do you get it? Right, let's talk about mistake number 2, ignoring your risk. Look, big positions feels like a shortcut, but the truth is the amygdala screams louder than the possibility of a loss than it does when you celebrate a win. So your stress hormones, they flood in, your vision narrows, and the trading plan goes out the window. One fat candle literally wipes your entire week of gains. Does that sound familiar? Well, you'll notice this when you're risking 3 to 5% per setup just to speed things up. No daily risk cap, and you're literally praying for that monster win. It's gonna fix everything, but it's not, does it? Okay, let's talk about the fix. Well, this is what I get my clients to say to me. Listen, from now on, it's 0.5 to 1% risk, non-negotiable. I've embedded my risk calculator, so math beats mood every single time. Before I click, I speak my one-liner. Capital preserved today, opportunity multiplied tomorrow. Then I open my journal and I reread my wins that came up from good risk. Proof that small really does scale. And the reality is protecting the account is how you pass, not swinging for the fences. Okay, mistake number 3, revenge trading after a loss. So you take a loss. It stings, just like physical pain, doesn't it? Your amygdala hijacks your logic for about 20 minutes, according to research. Adrenaline kicks in, you get tunnel vision, and suddenly you're clicking random trade, you're taking random entries just to get it back. Well, that's exactly how accounts are blown. You gotta spot it. It's usually when you're down. Emotions override logic, remember? And the day spirals from a tough morning into a blown account. In most cases, this is your funded account. So what's the fix? Say, listen, I've got 2 loss rule. If I'm down twice, my platform auto locks me out. Full stop. I step away, breathe for 90 seconds and write exactly what I'm feeling. Labeling the emotions, this calls the limbic fire in your brain. And then I ask, What real evidence says that the next trade is an A+ grade trade? If I can't answer this well, that's it, the day is done. That's discipline, and that's how you stay alive. Do you get it? Okay, let's talk about mistake number 4. Not following a written trading plan. Switching timeframes and setups mid-session isn't flexibility, it's decision fatigue in disguise. Look, your working memory holds at best 4 items. Under stress, your rules, gone, they disappear. And what's worse, your nervous system starts seeing trading as unsafe because you keep breaking your rules. So it pushes you into self-sabotage in order to avoid risk, to seek comfort. And this is a problem. So here are some of the symptoms that you get. Your gut feel entries, moving stop loss randomly, and that sinking feeling of, why did I just do that? So once that dust settles, you realize, man, what have I done? So what's the fix? You gotta spell it out like this. The truth is, I need an external brain. So I built a 1-page laminated checklist, entry, stop, target, risk. I tick every box before I take any trade. Each night, I run a mental rehearsal of tomorrow's ideal setup. So my brain fires the pathways before real money is on the line, and I backtest and I tag every setup. Evidence, it builds self-belief, and self-belief turns into disciplined action. It's so simple, right? Look, write down a simple plan, entry, stop loss, TP, risk. Convert that plan into a 1-page laminated card, make it look good, put it at your desk, and follow it religiously like a checklist. Run a nightly mental rehearsal. This is future pacing of tomorrow's ideal trade. This strengthens your synaptic pathways before real money is at risk. This is so effective. Also, you need to be backtesting and journaling each setup. This builds trust in your edge. Backtest and tag every setup, because this evidence builds self-efficacy, the brain's confidence chemical cocktail. Right, let's get into mistake number 5, focusing on the payout instead of the process. Look, the default mode network loves to daydream about the big payout. The problem is that fantasizing suppresses your task positive network that actually executes. You end up with anticipatory dopamine squeezes, and this is just ruins things because your discipline dissolves and you start risking crazy amounts just to get rich right now. And here are the red flags that you need to spot. You start staring at your payout dashboards, calculating future profits mid-session, and you end up taking unnecessary risks for showing off on Instagram. Does that sound familiar? Right, so what's the fix? You gotta flip the script, okay? You gotta start your session with micro goals. You gotta say things like, today I'm looking for flawless execution on my best setup during London session, because small wins have a big compound effect. And at the end of the day, as long as I'm jotting down one thing I'm grateful for and one process win, then my brain links discipline with good emotion. And every Friday I do an A to B review. Charts where I stuck with the process versus charts where I chase the payout. I look at and review the contrast, because the contrast is brutal and brutally effective at the same time, because I see where I'm going wrong. You gotta shift your focus from execution to discipline. And remember that passing the challenge is a byproduct of consistency. And funded traders, they're the ones who have mastered this process. There's no shortcuts. So make sure that you start each session with a micro goal and also something that you're grateful for. Remind yourself about your flawless discipline. This is the small wins that end up compounding, and it creates the circus in your brain that you need. So when you end the day with gratitude plus a process win in your journal entry, this reinforces the linkage between discipline and positive emotion. And your weekly A to B review, comparing the charts, like process versus chase payouts. This paints a stark visual contrast that cements the new narrative. Look, prop firm trading isn't about finding the perfect setup. It's about becoming the kind of trader who can handle the pressure, staying disciplined, and following the plan no matter what. And if you keep making these mistakes, no strategy is going to fix or save you, because the moment you fix them, everything shifts. You start trading smarter, not harder. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button, share it with another trader who needs to hear this. And look, if you want the kind of help that gives you consistency, where you can finally pass your next challenge, finally get to that payout, then check the link below, because I've got something for you.